Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Choma of Choma Stitches. Today we are going to be sewing a cargo pant. If this sounds like something you would like to learn, then keep watching and don't forget to subscribe. Also give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to share so that this community can grow. So we're going to go straight into the drafting. Now to draft the trouser pattern, I have to mark down 2 inches from the top here, creating a border around it, okay? And here I marked out 3 inches, and this is for when we are going to be drafting the back part. Okay, so first we're going to draft the front part, and then we will alter the front to get the back pattern of the trouser. Okay, so to do that, what I'm going to do is divide the hip measurement by 4. We're working with hip 41 inches. Hip 41 divided by 4 is going to give us 10.25. So I'm going to come down here and mark 10.25. And I'm also going to take it this way as well. So we have 10.25 here, 10.25. This is the hip measurement, okay? And then from here, we're going to be measuring the waist to the hip measurement. So from your waist to your hip measurement, for this, we're working with 8 inches. This differs for everybody, so if you're making a bespoke dress, then you know that this measurement will be different for everybody. You have to take out everybody's measurements differently, okay? And then from the center here, I'm going to be taking out the dart. And for this dart, we are using 4 inches, which is the bust span, the nipple to the nipple measurement. Nipple to the nipple measurement is 8 inches, divided by 2 is 4 for this particular person, okay? So if you're making yours, do well to take your own measurement and use your accurate measurement. So I'm going to mark out 4 inches, and I'm going to come down by 4 inches as well. And I'm going to connect it. Then I'll take out my dart, which is a 1 inch dart, half an inch on both sides. And then from here, to get your crotch extension for the front pattern, you divide your hip measurement by 20. And 41 divided by 20 is going to give us 2.01. So I'm marking 2.01. Okay, and I'm going to rule the hip line. I'm going to rule the crotch line all the way. So this is our crotch line, and this is the hip. Okay, and so from the hip line, I'm going to come out by 0.25. That is the half of an inch, and I'm going to mark it. And I'm going to be using my curved ruler. I am going to connect this using my curved ruler to get to the crotch line, and I'll connect it to the initial straight line. Okay, and then from here, I'm going to be dividing the waist measurement by 4, and you add your dart allowance. Okay, your dart measurement. The waist 32 inches divided by 4 is 8 inches. When you add your dart of 1 inch, you have 9 inches. So I'm going to mark out 9 inches. Now this is the waist measurement, and you're going to connect it using your straight ruler to the hip line. Now at this point, we are going to be marking out the full length of the trouser. Now the full length of the trouser is 41 inches, so I'm going to be marking 41 inches. From the waist to the knee line is 23 inches. So this is the knee. Next, we are going to divide the crotch line by 2. So what I like to do is fold this in half to get the center, and then you mark. So you're going to just transfer this measurement all the way. Then I'll connect them. If you are making a pencil trouser, at this point, this is where you input your measurements, okay? Say your knee measurement now is, say, 15 inches or 16 inches. If this was going to be a pencil trouser, this is the point where you input your knee measurement and your ankle measurement, okay? So if this knee measurement for this person is probably, say, 16 inches, 16 inches divided by 4 will be 4 inches on each side, because we now have this pattern divided by 2 here, okay? And the back pattern is going to be divided by 2 as well, which is making it divided by 4. That's what I'm trying to say. Or you can just say the 16 inches divided by 2, so you have 8 inches for the upper part, for the front pattern, and 8 inches for the back pattern. Now for the front pattern, that 8 inches, you are going to also break it down again into 2 inches so that you can equally distribute it on this side and on this side, okay, which will now give us the 4 inches. So I can come here and mark 4 inches on both sides. And then for the ankle, now if the ankle is say 12 inches, which will be divided by 4 will give us 3 inches on both sides, and you come here, you mark out your 3 inches on both sides. So what you're going to do is connect these lines. Now I'm going to use broken lines to do this because what I'm doing, drafting, is not a pencil trouser. I'm just showing you how you can draft your pencil trouser in case that is what you are trying to do and not a palazzo, okay? So I'm going to be using my pencil to indicate this. Since it's not a real line, it's something we're going to be cleaning off afterwards. Okay. So from here, I am just going to go ahead and connect this down. I don't know if you can see my pencil marking. And then from here, you are going to connect this one. Look at the way I turned my ruler, turn it in this direction and use this part that's a bit curvy to connect it, and then use your straight ruler to connect it from the crotch line to the knee, like so. Now this can be your pencil trouser, okay? I don't want to use too much markings and then have to clean it out later. So this can be your pencil trouser if this is what you were looking to get. If what you are working on is a pencil trouser, then this will be your pencil trouser, okay? Now, but since what I'm working on is a palazzo trouser, I am going to be needing more than just the exact knee measurement. So for the knee measurement, I want to use about 10 inches, which is 5 inches on each side. 5 inches or 5.5 inches, because I want it to be very free around the knee, okay, to have a palazzo effect. And I'm going to bring down the same 5.5 inches to the down part. So I'm going to come here and mark 5.5 inches as well. And just in the same vein, I am just going to connect it. And so now at this point, we have our front pattern. Now to alter this trouser pattern to get the back pattern is what we're going to be doing now, all right? I'm going to be using the red marker to alter this front pattern into the back pattern of the trouser, okay? Now to get the back pattern from 38 and 39, 40 and above, you come to the crotch line here and you go in by 1 inch. From this crotch line here, you come in by 1 inch. You come up here and you come up by 2 inches, okay? And then you're going to connect this. Now when you are rolling your line, for someone who is very big on the lower part, who has big hips or big bum bum, you can come up to say 1 inch, 1.5 inches or 1.8 or 2 inches from the waistline. You come up there and you mark out, you indicate it, and then you will roll this all the way to that extension you have up there. That's what I'm trying to say. You roll it to get to this place. Now for someone who is not, whose hip is not up to 38, say hip 37, 36, 35 and a little below, from here you go in by 0.75 and you can come here and use 1.5 inches, okay? That's the alteration you can make for someone that is not very big, okay? Now from here, you're going to take your measurement again, your hip divided by 4, and what we had was 10.3, 10.25. So I'm going to come here. From here, I'm going to put my 10.25 and I'm going to extend it to this place. So I am going to come here and mark it. So I'm going to be using my marker to extend this crotch line this way. This is the purpose of the 3 inches we left here for our alteration. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is measure what I have here. I have 1.15 here. I'm just going to come up to the hip line. I am inputting the same 1.15 here, and I'm going to connect the two of them. Okay, I will also rule this line extend it to meet this one over here. And from here we're going to impute the waist measurement. You can come up here for this front piece, come up by half of an inch. I should have done this when we're doing the front piece first. So come up here by half of an inch, and you can connect this to the first dart line. You rule it to meet the first dart line. Okay, now because of this marking here, the waistline has come up a little bit. So from here I'm going to be measuring our hip waist measurement plus the dart allowance is 9 inches. So from here I'm going to place my 9 inches on this extension here, and I'm going to be marking out where the 9 inches stops. Okay, you are going to slant it towards the half of an inch. Okay, it has to be half of an inch. So let's extend this one as well. Extend this waistline to this part. You are going to come up by half of an inch so that this marking, everything will align. So from here I'm going to come here and join these lines. This will be our new waistline, and then I'm going to use my straight ruler and connect this new waistline to the new hip line. When we were drafting the crotch extension for the front pattern, I said you divide your hip by 20 for the front piece, okay? But for the back, you divide your hip by 10. So hip 41 divided by 10 is going to give us 4.1. So from here, first I'm going to be extending the crotch line as well. I'm going to extend it all the way this way. So from my red marking, that is why I'm using red marker, so that you know where the back pattern starts and where it stops. Okay, from this red marker, that's our new crotch line, I'm going to mark out our 4.1 inches. So this is 4.1 inches. Okay, and then from here as well, from this new hip line, I am going to come out here by 0.25 inches, which is the same thing we did here. The 0.25 inches here, I'm going to mark it out here as well. So I'm going to be using my curved ruler again to connect this to the hip line, to the crotch line, sorry. And then you are going to rule this to meet the new line here. Okay, now at this point, this is our new crotch line. So now we're going to be extending this all the way down. So what I'm going to do is, from the knee line, I'm going to come out by half of an inch. On this side, I'm going to come out by half of an inch on this side as well. And I'm going to connect it. So using my ruler, I'm going to be connecting this part. Using the straight ruler, I will be connecting this part as well. Okay, and then now I am going to extend this to meet the floor part I'm going to extend it to the ankle. I'll also come out by half of an inch on this side, half of an inch on this side. And I'm going to extend it to meet each other. So now this is our trouser pattern. So if you watch this drafting carefully, right now you know how to draft a trouser pattern. Next, we are going to be doing our darts. Okay, so from here you are going to be marking out the darts, the 4 inches dart as well. So you are going to mark it here, and then you are going to be using a straight ruler. Now this is why this kind of rulers are important. It's going to help to guide you, to show you whether your lines are straight or curved. Okay, so what I'm going to do is place this here and make sure these straight lines are on the initial line I've marked that I am sure is very straight. So I'm going to place one of the lines on it to help guide me so that I can get a straight line for the dart. And for the dart for the back, I can use up to 5 inches since I use 4 inches for the front. Okay, so from here I'm going to extend it to make it like so. And then I'm going to take out my dart on both sides, which is half of an inch on both sides, 1 inch in all, and I will extend it. Take out the dart like so. So this is it. So this will be our trouser pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out this pattern now, and then we will transfer it to fabric. And so this is our pattern, and at this point I can just label this waist to be 35 and hip to be 41. This is so that if I need this pattern for future references, if I want to make another trouser for this same exact measurement, I do not need to redraft the pattern. I just need to use the pattern, place it on another pattern paper, and do my alterations on it, and I have a pattern ready. Okay, so I'm going to be transferring this to fabric to make the cargo pants, and I'm going to be taking out the band. From this. So I'm going to measure the 1.5 inches that I would like to take out, which means this 1.5 inch I'm taking out will be replaced when you are putting the band. So you are going to cut your band to replace this band we are taking out here. Now if it's a jumpsuit, then you do not need to take out the band. The band will be part of your half length. Okay, you will not take out the band for a jumpsuit, but for a trouser you are going to be taking out the band. So I'm going to take out 1.5 inch from both the front pattern and the back pattern. Instead of cutting it out, I can just fold it in. I can fold in this band so that when I transfer to pattern, I will use here. Then if I want to use the same pattern for a jumpsuit, I just need to open it up and use it again, but instead of cutting it out. So I'm going to be folding it in like so. Also remember that your dart is still here, and when you take out the band, the dart is no longer up to 1 inch dart. You just measure what you have, that's what your new dart is. So what I'm seeing here is about 0.6. okay, so the dart is now 0.6 dart. It is no longer up to 1 inch. So if I want to transfer this to fabric now and I don't want this dart to be here, I will just fold in the dart. I will fold in the dart like so, and so when I cut out my pattern, I will not have to worry about that. Okay, but if not, you use your dart and you take out the new dart that you have, which is 0.6 and no longer 1 inch dart. Okay, so I'm going to transfer this to fabric now. For me, I'm going to be altering this because I'm sewing is going to be a cargo pant. So I want to take out some part of this to slim fit it a little bit, but it will not be too tight. It will still be free, but not very free. Okay, but not palazzo free. So I'm taking out 1/2 inch from the knee, and I'm just going to slant it somehow towards the hip area, and I'm going to mark it out. I've also reduced the down part. This plate is now 8 inches. I'm going to reduce this one to 9 inches because this is usually 1 inch wider than the front piece, sorry. So I'm doing the same thing here, taking out 1/2 inch on this side of the knee, and I'm slanting it towards the crotch area. So I've added the sewing allowance all around. I have 0.75 inches around here. I have 1 inch on the sides, 1 inch, 1 inch all around. Okay, and then 1/2 inch at the top for joining the band to the trouser, because the band we've taken out, the 1.5 inch band we took out, we're going to replace it. And then here I have added the crotch. I added an extra allowance for the front crotch. This is for the zipper. Okay, this space is going to be for the zipper. I added 2 inches, and then I measured it down to about 7 inches, and I did my curve, and I added the allowance for this other side of the crotch. This is important. We're going to see how we're going to attach the zipper using this as our guide. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut out the pattern right now. Our zipper flyer is inbuilt. And so now I'm going to go ahead and cut out my lining piece, and I would like to, the lining will stop somewhere around here. So to sew the cargo pants, this is the back part. So this is what I'm going to be doing. So to conceal the sewing at the back part here, this is what I'm going to do. So I've placed the main fabric like so. I am going to be placing both lining piece on it. So I'm going to go ahead and sew. Okay. And then for the front part, I am going to be concealing the zipper flyer, the rough part of the zipper flyer. So I'm going to be sewing with 1/4 inch around like so. I'm going to go ahead and sew here, and I'll do the same thing here too, and then I'll turn it inside out. Okay, so this is the effect of what I did, the hemming around the crotch area for the front. Okay, I sewed it and turned it inside with the lining. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and join here and sew all the way and stop here. This is going to be the flap for the zip. And then for the back, when you put both lining on the same direction and you sew it and open up the lining like so, you have the crotch area for the back looking this clean. Okay, so I'm going to be sewing the band to the back part. I'm going to be sewing the band to the back. Pocket I want to make, I'm just going to use my hand as a guide. Just follow the hand the way it goes and just come this way. So the hand is going to be a guide to the pocket. So I need here to be wide enough so the hand can slip through it, just like this. So this is enough. I'm going to cut out this and cut it into 4 pieces. So let's make a cargo pocket. To make this cargo pocket, I have this piece of fabric cut out. I have 2 of them here. This is by 11.5 inches by 12. So this is the length of the pocket and this is the width. For the length, I'm going to be hemming here. I'm going to be hemming the top with 1 inch or half an inch folded twice. But before you hem it, I have to come here. I'll fold it in like so. I will iron it to create this effect of the ironing here, and then I am going to sew it. Now if I'm needing like 1 inch for the hemming on the top, okay, I need like 1.5 inch for the hemming on the top, and I would like to show the pleat effect to show up to this 1.5 inch here. So I'll be needing like 3/4 of an inch to fold in the under, and then I'll be needing the 1.5 inch as well for the pleated effect. So I'm just going to mark this up like so. Okay, so what I'm going to do is iron here, and then I'm going to sew from here with half of an inch to the end, and I'm going to sew from here with half of an inch like so. So I'm going to sew here, stop here, sew here, stop here. And so I have sewn it. Look at this. So this is it. Look at the opening and the line there. So now I'm going to go ahead and hem it. Okay, and look at what I've done. I iron this part, iron it open like so. This is the part that is longer, the part at the top. So I'm going to be folding here like so, opening the pleat, and I'm going to be hemming here with 0.75 inch folded twice like so, and I'm going to go ahead and hem it because I don't want it to fray. This is the part that is going to be open. I'm going to go ahead and hem it. So I've hemmed it. As you can see, this is how it looks from the back. So I'll turn the front, and now depending on how much allowance you added to this and how much space you are using for what I am working on, I'm going to be marking out from here 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches on this side as well. Okay, and I'm going to transfer this marking all the way to here. So I came up by 2 inches here, just demarcating the lines. So now I'm going to make a box here like so. So you can also iron this to create these lines. Iron this to keep these lines like so, because we're going to be sewing on it. See, I've ironed it out, and now I'm going to be following this ironing. I'm going to be following this iron. I'm going to take it like this and make a pinch and just sew exactly at the edge. I'm going to sew exactly at the edge of this sharp line that I've marked with my iron. I'll do the same thing here, and I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to sew it from here like this, and I'll show us the process. Now this lines. Okay, so I have sewn it to both the front pieces and the back pieces as well, just the same way. So now I am going to be joining the sides, just the sides of the trouser. So after sewing the sides of the cargo pants, you are going to mark on the side of the cargo pants, on the side possibly lower than the pocket, the initial pocket you've created, and you are going to mark where you are going to be placing the cargo pockets. And then you are going to mark out the 3.5 inches we marked when we were taking out the pinched sewing on the cargo pockets, and then you're going to go ahead and fold in the the hem of the cargo pocket. Okay, also pin it everywhere just to keep it in place. And then at the bottom of the pocket, you're also going to mark the 3.5 as well. This is all to guide you so that you will not stretch your fabric and exceed the markings. Also, when you get to the end, you're just going to flip the fabric like so and turn it and keep sewing at 0.3 inches. Also try to arrange the other side of the pocket as you go so that every part of the pocket is going to align and it will give you a straight marking. You can also pin this to keep it in place. And for accuracy's sake, you can also stop at the center when you've gotten to the center on the bottom side of the pocket, and you start from the other top of the pocket. Also, don't forget to do your markings so that everything will align, and then you're going to go ahead and sew at 0.3 inches, and you're going to go ahead and sew it all the way to the end. And as you go, do well to take your markings. All this to guide you to give you a straight sewing. And when you get to the end, you're going to flip it as well and continue sewing until you get all the part of the pocket properly sewn. And so when you've sewn the whole pocket together, you're going to go ahead and pick the part of the pocket that is standing, and you're going to bend it down like I am doing so, and you're going to go ahead and sew at 0.5 inches just to keep it down and give it the shape of a cargo pocket. And then you're going to repeat the same thing on the other side as well. At this point, you can also choose to place a pocket cover on top of this pocket. It will help you in case you want to put a button over it or something. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out a pocket cover that is going to be the same width with the top of the pocket, and I'm just going to place it on top of it and sew it. And so I'm going to go ahead and sew it on the first time, sewing it very close to the end of the lining because we know it might fray, so I'm going to be top stitching it. So I'm going to go ahead and sew it like so, following the straight line just on top of the cover, and then I'm going to be turning it down to top stitch it. And then to control the pocket cover, I am going to go ahead and make stitch on the top there, just 0.3 inch stitch, and I'll do it on both sides, and that way the pocket will be completed. You can go ahead and add your buttonholes and then add one button to give it the design, and this is our pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off the inseam of the trouser and then hem the edge, and then I will put it on the mannequin so that we'll see how it looks. And so guys, if at this point you have not subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Also don't forget to share it so that this community can grow, and I'd like to see your engagements in the comment section. I'd like to hear from you. I hope you like the outcome. Also, the sewing tutorial for the jacket is going to be available on this channel as well. Don't forget to check it out, and see you in my next sewing tutorial. Bye bye.